Well, hello, beautiful people. How we doing today? We are back at it once again with the book Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting by Lynn Grabhorn. And this is actually into chapter 7, part 34. And if you guys remember yesterday, hopefully you guys are following this every day because I post these every day if you don't know. But this is all about making sure that you're focusing on what is only working. And she used some real life examples of what the difference is just in the period of like a couple of months, right? She was fully inspired. Everything, inspiration was just coming to her because she was just focusing on what she wanted and asking the universe to plant seeds, to give her information all the time. And then all of a sudden, once she started getting it, she started focusing on the fear part, right? Being fearful and thinking about all the things that could go wrong. And guess what? Things started going wrong. So we get this and we understand that this is the difference, right? And this is why I was saying, you only want to focus on what is working. That's it. Only, right? And making sure that when you go to bed at night, you're visualizing only things that are working. And it is all about perspective. And there's a whole video that I have on this. If you guys want to dive deeper into it, I'll go ahead and leave it up here, and I'll leave it at the end so you guys can actually see that video, because it is really important just to only focus on what is working. When my mentor explained this to me, it made all the difference in the world. And I know it's going to make all the difference in the world for you guys also too. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on. Here we go. Let's just get the audio queued up. All right.
Inspired versus whacking. Most of us have always had this notion. Well, it's more than a notion. We were raised that way. That in order to obtain the things we desired to have, we had to match the level of those desires with equivalent personal efforts.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if all we wanted was an ice cream cone, that would take only a minimal personal effort on our part. If, on the other hand, we desired to become the first governor of our state, heading a brand new political party, we would gear ourselves up for an entirely different level of personal effort, called push and shove. Indeed, we have always believed that in order to even come close to obtaining any of the larger, more significant things we desired, beyond ice cream cones, it has meant either knocking our brains out to obtain them or forgetting them altogether. But knocking our brains out means we're into hi-ho silvering with grossly uninspired actions. It means we're operating from a purely physical, pushy stance. It means we're into gottes and shoulds. It means, in a nutshell, we're forever trying to push rivers upstream blindfolded, without our own higher guidance. It means we're operating with very closed valves, causing the kinds of internal stress and negative energy flow that can't possibly produce our desired results. It would seem then that the logical approach to getting where we want to go, or making things happen the way we'd like them to happen, is to operate off guided inspiration instead of the negative vibrations of social conscious stress.
Mm.
How do we do that? Where do we start? How do we stop whacking?
Mm.
Well, first comes the inspiration, the ideas. They come because you've been spending more time in those higher frequencies feeling good, or better, buzzing and turning on. Then, after flowing goodly amounts of feel-good energy to one or more of those great new ideas, you start to act on them, yes, but now from a place of hallowed inspiration rather than negative pushing. And so, your actions now become as inspired as your idea. And everything that's coming to you is coming from a place of high frequency. Then, yowee, something amazing begins to happen. No matter how complex or involved the ideas seem to be, you find them falling into place and flowing along with the ease and sureness of an uninterrupted mountain stream. And why not? Your ideas were inspired. Now, too, are your actions to bring those ideas into reality, all from your higher frequency energy flow. Let's say one day you're just bipping along, feeling great, and you get an idea. It's a fantastic idea, just the kind of thing you know would work if you only knew how to do it, or had enough money, or enough education, or enough support, or enough. There are only two ways you can go when you get a bucket full of guidance downloaded on you. You can say, oh, that's just nuts. A good idea, maybe, but, and promptly close your valve.
Hmm.
Or you can decide to shut up and listen and trust what you're getting. If you've been regularly stating some wants and your valve has been open more than usual, you can bet you'll soon be receiving guidance in the form of ideas to help direct you toward those wants. If you decide to go ahead with one of these ideas and follow the course of activities that will continue flowing into you as hunches or concepts, you'll be going into action, yes, but now we're talking inspired action versus high-ho silvering. Inspired ways to accomplish your goal. Inspired activities, which will be fun. Inspired techniques and methods, which you'll find yourself performing with the greatest of ease instead of trying to push everything upstream against an unyielding current.
Hmm.
So when inspiration hits, or an idea for how to further your want just happens to slip in one day, start thinking in can-dos rather than yeah buts.
Hmm.
Never mind the how-tos. They'll come once you relax into that higher frequency. Instruction books always accompany inspiration. Now the flow begins. What it might take a disconnected person years to do, you whiz through in a few months, guided only into the most productive activities by your thoroughly jubilant, expanded self.
Hmm.
Grease slides. Right in the middle of that year of years when the mortgage business and income were pouring in so fast it was laughable, I had an idea. I really didn't need any ideas, as my wants were streaming in faster than I had time to enjoy. Nonetheless, I had an idea, and it blew me away. The idea came while I was in the shower one night when, for some reason I don't remember, I was really buzzing. And I have to tell you, my first response, out loud, to what came in was, give me a bloody break. You gotta be kidding. The idea was to do an infomercial, a half-hour TV commercial, for an unusually large and complex self-help product that I had not yet created, had never even thought about, and for which I had not the slightest notion where to begin. The whole concept was mad and totally illogical. I was up to my armpits in a booming mortgage business, in the middle of the biggest year I had ever had, and was suddenly being downloaded with droves of ideas about producing a TV program about which I knew nothing. Insane. Not to mention that it would cost 14 arms and a leg to accomplish, take an inordinate amount of talent to coordinate, and be a full-time job for someone who knew what the hell they were doing, which I most assuredly did not. Never mind, I hadn't even turned out the product. But my valve was open, even though I didn't understand that. My frequencies were high, and everywhere I looked, I saw only positive conditions. But the ideas for having fun kept coming, whether I was asking for them or not. Just 4 months after getting the idea and manifesting the staggering sums of dollars to pay for the lavish production of product and the sums required for the first-class production of the TV show, and the dollar or two required to purchase extensive coast-to-coast TV time, and the time to write, narrate, act in, and produce it all, I was filming on location with a sizable professional crew. Just 4 months. That's all it took. By March of the following year, I was on the air promoting Life Course 101. the monumental audiovisual home study course I had authored on inner growth. Amazing. I was performing the work of a dozen people, running one business and creating another, while authoring and producing an elaborate new program by myself in almost vintage years. To be sure, most of my friends thought I had gone mad. Ah, but what they didn't know was how effortlessly everything was materializing. There was no hi-ho silvering, no frantic pushing or shoving. This time I was connected. Everything flowed as if on a greased slide.
Hmm.
Pieces fell magically into place. I'd wonder how to do something. The answers would float in, and I'd easily accomplish whatever needed to be done. No fret, no worry, and not a doubt in the world. Truly, I was having a ball. Sure, it was a lot of work, but it was easy work because the plays were being called straight from the sidelines by my guidance coach. Any problems that came up were solved as fast as they appeared. Everything, for both companies, kept falling into perfect alignment. I was in the flow of life. I never questioned a new idea or a new direction, for the how-tos were always right behind the idea. And never once did I feel down. Spontaneity became my middle name. I stopped worrying about time. The high-frequency magnetics emanating from me were so powerful. They were mobilizing the next circumstances and events for me to walk into almost before I had finished the last ones. I was dazzled by what was happening. Yet all I was doing, without knowing it, was flowing positive feel-good energy and implementing the inspired ideas that were coming in a steady stream. It doesn't get more exciting than that.
Hmm. All right, you guys, we're going to stop right there. Wow. Okay. Interesting. And I remember this chapter vividly because it was one that I originally struggled with. I'm not gonna lie, because what she's basically saying and what I want you guys to get from this, and I think what is the challenge, and it's going to take over time. But for those of you guys that are dedicated to watching this daily, you're already taking the first steps, right? It's just you're trusting your instincts. Something told you to do it. Something said, hey, do this. Just like something told me to do this every day for you guys, right? Like I'm not worrying about how many people are viewing, what's happening with it or not. I'm just doing this to get this content out for you guys, right? And then inspiration and things continue to flow as I put out my own goals, which is what you want to be doing. And the key here is just to trust your instincts, follow your instincts, follow everything that's going, and then just focus only on what is working. So comment down below if you guys are already doing this. I know there's a few of you guys that are already watching these videos every single day and being a part of this extraordinary journey that we all are having right now. So I hope you guys are really enjoying it. And it's not too late. There is a playlist that has all of the previous videos. I personally don't recommend doing it that way. But again, I know people have lives because I try to keep these videos down to at least 15, 10 to 15 minutes. I know there's a few that might go over that, but for the most part, you guys should be watching these every day. And that's why I set it up. So every day, first thing in the morning or the next day when you're getting up, depending on your time zone, the video is right there. So if you haven't already, make sure that you guys like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. It is so important because once you hit and you say all instead of personalized, you're getting any video notifications of any videos that's popping up. And then once the video shows, because I'm actually premiering these, once they show, there's a little button down in the left-hand corner or the right-hand corner, and you can click notify me. And then you'll get a notification on whatever device you have to let you know that this video has now gone live for that day. So I hope you guys do that. And until next time, you guys make it a great day. Take care.